Hey everyone, today we're going to be flying the TBM 930 from Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport up to Gatlinburg-Pigeon Forge Airport. It's going to be a short flight, about 20 minutes. Going to stay VFR because it's clear skies outside, so let's get in the airplane, get it fired up, and get out of here. Alright, so we're inside the airplane. I'm going to go ahead and clear my yoke out. Come up here. Crash bar goes up. Go ahead and go on the battery. Got my gens on. First things, get the navs on. I'm not going to turn the strobes on, even though I'm pretty sure in the TBM the strobes are also the beacon, but we're just going to run the navs. So let's get it fired up. Let's make sure our parking brake is on. We're going to come up here. What about fuels? Good fuel. Fuel pumps to auto. Let me go ahead and do this real fast because I have to move my my throttle because it acts up if I don't move it. Then we're gonna come over to the starter. Really should be looking at both, but I don't have track IR, so IR. Hold it for 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure. Let's come down here. We're gonna watch the ITT. Watching the NG. Gonna go ahead and go to low idle. And we're coming alive. We're gonna wait till 50%, and then we're gonna go into flight idle. And there it is. So flight idle. Good. All right. Gonna go auto on the fuel pumps. Fuel selectors auto. AP trims come on. Been a bit since I flew this airplane, so hopefully we don't miss anything. Oh, that's good. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna go. I'm not gonna use the inertial separator because at the moment I think the inertial separator is not correct in the TBM on Microsoft Flight Sim, so I'm just gonna pretend it's on and off and all that. It's gonna scream at me for the pitot heat, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But I am gonna turn my bleeds on. So next thing we have to do is get our flight plan in. Pretty straightforward flight plan. Origin's gonna be Kgsp, Greenville-Spartanburg International. Then to destination is Kgkt, Gatlinburg-Sevierville. So that's in. We're just gonna go ahead and turn our transponder on VFR. I'm not gonna talk to tower or anything because everyone knows how flight sims are with the default air traffic control. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn flight director comes on. We're gonna go into nav mode. Altitude. Oh, wrong button. 10,000 feet. It's going straight to 10,000. We're just gonna say they cleared us to 10,000. Almost. Now instead of listening to the ATIS, I'm gonna actually just look at ForeFlight, which I have pulled up. 2989 on the barometer. Yeah, that's not the right barometer. There we go. At least I have my standby backup barometer set. Go ahead and turn this on to FMS. Runway 22, but I'm not sure actually what the runway heading for runway 22 is. So I'll set it to 22 and set it exactly once I'm actually on the runway. It's gonna be an interesting exit from this. This is supposedly the GA ramp, but I'm right beside some gates and there's like a barren behind me and there's a gate to this side. It's gonna be interesting getting out of here. All right, so we got that set up. We don't have our wind, so let's get our wind on. Sure. There it is. I just missed it. Option. Okay, we got our wind. We might already have the wind on, and I just didn't see it. Flaps. We'll go ahead and get our flaps to 1. That looks good. Rudder trim looks good. It is working. I just had to make sure it was working. Little green dot between rudder. I'd like to keep it in between, and this just a tad above the green, because it'll really get off the ground fast if you're not careful. Everything else, I think we're gonna be good until we actually get to the runway. Oxygen, we're going to 10,000, but it's already on. Okay, this is ours. Passenger oxygen. We don't have any passengers, so it's been a while since I've flown the TBM. I'm gonna go ahead and get our taxis on. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the strobes off to not mess with the ramp workers. Everything else I think is good. Like I said, I'm not gonna use an inertial separator, and I'll turn on the pitot heats when I actually get to the runway. Let's spin around. I think I'm gonna make the left turn and run into the banana or the Baron instead of the gate. I'm gonna give it a little hard left rudder actually. Chop up this cart as well as the ramp worker. Have to give it a little toe brake. Probably gonna hit this Baron. No? Gonna be close. Incredibly close, but I don't think I'm gonna hit it. Good deal. Alright. So we're gonna come out. And the real TBM, you have to actually be in beta when you're moving around, because the engine RPM idle will move the airplane faster than you actually want it to go. Not so much in the flight sim, unless it's been changed, because it's been a little bit since I've flown a TBM, but we're still at 9 knots, so as long as we don't go over 20, tower won't fuss at us. We're gonna come out. This is L3, and then we're gonna get on to Lima, and we're gonna go all the way down to runway 22. I haven't purchased the Greenville-Spartanburg Airport, whatever texture or whatever it is. I forgot the word. I forgot how to word. There's a shuttle on the taxiway. It's realistic. Had to pick up some passengers. They must have had an emergency out here on the runway. I haven't heard anything about it though. We're just gonna continue on. Keeping it as realistic as possible and staying around 20 knots. There's 20 knots. I'm gonna go ahead and give it some brake. Like I said, in real life, we would be in beta right now. Just slow the airplane down. Which should be, yeah. Go ahead and test my own beta out. Which you really could, once you get moving, you really could do it on here, but it's not quite realistic enough. So I don't really use it. It's same with the inertial separator. Uh-oh. Why is it? Got some issues. Oh, I thought we ran off the taxiway. Aux boost pump on. What did I forget? I'm just going to stop right here on the taxiway. My aux boost pump is actually on. Auto off. Or auto fuel. Why is my ITT too high? Uh-oh. I don't understand why my boost pump is on. My ITT is actually through the roof. Go ahead and get these on. I'm sure I forgot a step in this process here. My ITT's up. My boost pump is off now. Maybe I didn't like the fact that it idled. In real life, this would actually be a really, really kind of shut the engine down real quick because his ITT is absolutely skyrocketing. I honestly have no clue what happened there. Because there's my inertial separators on. Let me turn it back off. That's really the only thing. I turned my stall heat and my pitot heat on. And I flipped the inertial or the boost pump off and then back on. So I have no clue. Anyway, we're almost here. I'm gonna use the entire runway, even though you could land a 767 on this runway. Actually, I think I'm gonna go from Juliet. I don't need a lot of runway. Coming in hot. To the whole short line, we'll get our lights on and we'll get out of here. Oh, close enough. Actually, gonna turn my panel lights on a little. Get our lights. We got strobes. We'll go leave taxis on. We'll go to a pulse. Inertial separator, like I said, is gonna stay off. We'll give it the windshield heat also. Get some air conditioning going. Good. Bleeds are on. Everything's good. Flaps are good. Let's get out of here. We're going to be looking for 90 knots on the takeoff. I'm going to look for probably 140 on the climb out. I think that's a what the TBM likes to climb out at. My flight director's on. Nav mode's good. For navigation purposes. So let's get out of here. We're gonna give it some throttle, and this thing is a rocket. Great sounding airplane also. Over torquing the engine. I'm a great TBM pilot. 90 knots, we can get off the ground. Simultaneously pulling massive amounts of throttle out of this thing. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and trim up. I need to get my gear up. Go ahead and get the flaps up. Massive nose down attitude. Trying to stay on my heading. I put in a little left trim on the rudder. Getting coordinated flight. Still need some left rudder trim. Can actually toggle on the autopilot. Go into vertical speed mode here. I'm going to climb out at like 2,500 feet until it gets around to where I want it. We're fast right now. Bump my torque up a little higher to like 95. We'll climb. We're not going very high today. We're only going to 10,000 feet. I have no idea what this abomination of a structure is off our nose at the moment. We're gonna be crossing the Appalachian Mountains, technically the Smoky Mountains, and I think some of the highest points are like 8,500 feet through the Smokies, maybe higher, maybe lower. So we're just gonna go at 10,000, and we're gonna just, it's a very, very delicate procedure coming down out of the mountains. Go ahead and square up heading. We're still climbing at an incredible rate. These ads, oh, it's the wrong way. Let's go to 3,000, see if it'll actually do it. Like I said, I think the TBM definitely likes to climb out at like 140, and you can hold that the whole way up. We would have our inertial separator on now. It's really clear weather. There's not a cloud in the sky, so probably around this point, we would go ahead and turn the inertial separator off, and we would get more torque out of the engine, and it would be less ITT. And as we go up, it'll be less torque. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. But if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. We should be getting on the magenta line here at the moment. Hit MFD and zoom out some. This is gonna be an 86 nautical mile flight. It's gonna be 20 minutes in the TBM. I'm gonna head nose down. Oh, wrong way. We'll nose it back over to 2,500. Starting to get a little slow. So at 10,000 feet, Kgkt Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge is at 1,000 feet. We're a turbine aircraft today and not a light aircraft. So the turbine's 2,500 feet. So 10,000 minus 2,500 is, ooh, 7,500 feet. Maybe 8,000 feet, 7,500 feet, whatever. I suck at math. So the way I come down, I can do it whatever, but so 8,000 feet, basically 7,500 feet, 75, let me think of my math. It's 2,500 feet, so we got to go down 7,500 feet. 75 times 3 is 15, like 21 miles. I think we can get down 21 miles. I'm just really saying random numbers, but we're gonna go with 20 miles, maybe a little more, maybe 25 miles. We'll start our descent. Starting to build up some speed. Once we get up, once it starts to slow down just a tad, I'll start to back off of it. I'm definitely not going to fly all the way to for 86 miles at 93 on the torque. It's starting to slow down, so I think I'm going to drop it back to 90. Like I said, if this is real life, the inertial separator would be off. Lights. Always forget the lights. We're gonna leave on everything. We're gonna turn the pulse off. The TBM's awesome in general, but one of my favorite features is definitely the automatic tank swaps. I'm a big fan of those. Square up my heading again. As we start to see the Smoky Mountains. Let's go outside our airplane and see what we look like. This skin is absolutely beautiful, this livery. And this airplane is designed to fly at 30,000 feet, so you're not going to get 330 knots out of it at 10,000 feet, especially it being a turbine engine. But 272 knots ground speed is quite quick. About 15 minutes out of Gatlinburg, and this is always a fun landing coming down through the mountains. The winds are calm in Gatlinburg in real life, so I'm going to be taking runway 28, which is the runway on this side. Basically straight in approach. In my last video in the Mooney, I actually flew a left pattern in Myrtle Beach due to wind. So this one's going to be a little more easy. Not as easy with the mountains, because Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge Airport is very, very close to the mountains. It might as well be a mountain airport. So you get quite close to the mountains, which is always fun. This is a beautiful airplane. For $4 million, it can also be yours. I'm really, really waiting. I know I said it in my last video, but I'm really, really waiting for PC-12. If anyone's listening that is an aircraft developer, please design a PC-12. I will throw my money at you. We are about to be crossing Brevard, North Carolina, which is right here off our left. Not a lot going on in Brevard, North Carolina. Asheville is off to our right. There's Asheville Airport, if you can see the lights down there. My view distance can't go that far, so you can't actually see the airport, but you can see the lights. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's looking like on our map that, let me pull up the actual VFR map, which you can't really see it. Here's our flight path. It's absolutely straight. But on ForeFlight maps, it's saying our highest point on this trip is going to be 7,000 feet. And this 7,000 feet, is, I kid you not, is probably... I can pull up my ruler here. It's going to be about 12 nautical miles on our flight path, 12 nautical miles away from Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge Airport. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have to veer off the magenta line, go into heading mode, and I'm going to have to probably take like a 20-degree right to go around this peak that's 7,000 feet, so I can still get down in enough time to actually fly in to Kgkt. Or I would have to do a circle, or, you know, a circling pattern or whatever to lose altitude. So when we get a little bit closer, we're 50 nautical miles out. We get a little bit closer, probably somewhere over the Smokies, we'll go ahead and turn our make our right turn, probably a 20-degree right turn, maybe a little more. Then we'll come back on a left turn and be a straight in on runway 28. There's the Smoky Mountains. As you can tell, I'm at 10,000 feet, and they're still within probably 3,000 feet or so. It's always fun flying through the Smokies. It's an absolutely beautiful place. If you've never been there in real life, you should. It's awesome. Everything's still good. Our gauges are in the green. We actually have pressurization. Even though we wouldn't need oxygen in real life, we got 2,000 more feet before we actually need oxygen. Our amps are good. I don't actually know if 0 amps are good, but 50 volts, we're all good. The thing about the TBM is you trim it out, you rudder trim it out. Like, I added some left trim to coordinate the airplane. So when you turn the autopilot off, there's going to be usually a lot of left turning tendency until you can actually retrim it out to straighten it out. So a lot of times it's really jarring in the TBM when you kick the autopilot off, because the autopilot's keeping your plane straight, but when you kick it off, it's going to have that left trim in it still, and it's going to turn your airplane to the left, and that happens to me all the time in this airplane. So hopefully it won't be as bad today, but we'll see. Now we're 39 miles out, nautical miles out, 8 minutes. We're at 272 knots ground speed, 10,000 on the altitude, with a 318 bearing. Almost about to go over Waynesville, North Carolina. I think my next endeavor very soon is going to be doing some bush flying out west. I'm not sure where I'm going to actually start, but I want to fly the Carbon Cub or something of that nature out and just do some bush flying, landing in the mountains and deserts, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Probably, regardless on our flight plan, within 15 miles I need to start my descent. I'm pretty sure the mountains off our nose are in fact the end of the Smokies, but I don't hold me to that. So very soon we're gonna actually have to start our way down. Pattern altitude, like I said, at Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge for turbine aircraft is 2,500. So at minimum we need to be at 2,500 for the straight in. We are approximately 6 minutes and 30 seconds away. It's probably going to be a tad longer because, like I said, I'm not going to be able to go straight in because of this 7,000 feet peak in front of us, even though I'm not actually sure if there is one on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but we're going to pretend there is. We may try it, because I'm pretty sure off their nose right here is actually the end of it. I think I'm going to go ahead and very carefully start my descent. We're going to go at 8,000. We're going to go vertical speed mode. Go to 1,500. We've got to pull out some throttle. Keep my speed up, so you know I'm not really worried about losing too much speed yet. Regardless, 8,000 should be plenty high enough to fly through where we're going. We're all the way down at 60 on the torque now. Still at a cool 271 knots. Since we are in the mountains, Kgkt's barometer is at 2992, so we're going to go ahead and go to 2992 on both, which is standard barometric pressure. Go ahead and add in a little more throttle. The mountains off our nose are starting to go up under us. Down on the windshield, so that means we're above them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go down to 6,000 feet. And if we encounter any issues on the way down, I'll just stop the descent. We're still at 1,500 feet. I'm going to go back down to 63 on the torque because I know that was a good setting to keep my airspeed. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting approach. Like I said, I might go ahead and instead of like a 20 degree, I might do a 10 degree right. I don't think we're gonna get an altitude alarm, the 500 feet to the ground alarm, but as you can see, our RA flashing down there at 2,200 feet because we're crossing the peak of this mountain. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go square my heading up. Then we're going to heading mode. We're gonna go 328. Which I really need to be careful over to my right as my frames take a massive hit. 328 is gonna give me a little bit better straight in. I'll be a little bit farther out. I'll be on the extended center line for a little bit longer to get my airplane ready for landing. Since I am coming down, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my pulses on. I'm gonna taxi, which is gonna let my lights pulse. 6,000 feet, we're basically clear, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go down to about 3,000. I can probably hand fly the rest of the way. I think 1,500 is going to get us there right on time, maybe early. 1,500 feet vertical descent speed. We are 12 nautical miles from Kgkt. ETA of 2 minutes 30 seconds. I think we're going to be perfect on time when it comes to our descent speed. Maybe a tad late. If so, I think we actually have enough time to get down farther. Kgkt is behind this pillar right here as I lose more frames. Let me go ahead and slow the airplane down because I'm almost ready to go into landing configuration, and I need to be at 176 knots. Yeah, we are very close. I may be high, hopefully not in real life, but I don't do drugs, but 176, we can go ahead and get our gear down. I don't know if this is actually going to be, I don't know if we're high or not, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot, add in some left rudder. Wow, frames, please frames. 76, so we're gonna go ahead and drop both. We're in a descent now. Ooh, we're quite high. Tad high. At flight idle. Frames, please. We're close close to where we need to be. 3 nautical miles out. Can we slip it? Wow, these frames. Pretty good side slip here. Well, that was a terrible side slip, actually. Now we're slow. My frames are terrible. Really slow. And kill my yaw damper. We land at 85 anyway. It's still high. I don't think I had the right settings on Msfs for the slips. I think I have a some kind of assist on that didn't really let me do a correct slip. We're close. I think even on speed we're fine. Watch these transmission lines for the power. Might land a little long, but flight idle. Oof. I actually touched the ground a lot sooner than I expected, but it works. I haven't flown the TBM in a while. We can actually probably make... I'm gonna over torque the engine 100%. We're good. Oh. Oh, it's still in beta. Alright, we'll cross the whole short line. We'll clean up the airplane and we'll taxi to our spot. I get the pulses off. We'll leave the taxis on. I'll turn my strobes off. We'll go ahead and turn the panel lights off. We'll turn our bleeds off. Go ahead and get our stalls, windshield, pitot heats are coming off. Flaps are up. Everything else, we can turn the oxygen off. Everything else stays on until we're ready to shut the airplane down. Clear this off. Good to go. Now we can go to our parking spot. We can turn the flight director off. Just have a little bit faster shutdown. In real life, the TBM 930 needs, I think, 2 or 3 minutes at idle. Once you get it to your parking spot, you let it idle for 2 or 3 minutes. But I am flying down this taxiway. As this van backs out in front of me, this transit. It's pretty convenient right here just to park. Let's see if I get it. I had never been ooh, that is awful. This is gonna be a terrible parking job. Right, left rudder. Might not be bad. We'll see. And stop it. Let's see what we got. I'm pretty sure I'm facing left. Let's see what it looks like. Turn this. Okay, we're good. It'll work. Alright, let's get the air conditioner off. What else? We can turn the AP trims off. We leave the auto on. We're good to get it there. Like I said, we'll pretend we use for 2 minutes. We let it idle. We're going to go to low, high idle, low idle. Shut down, and now it's going to start beeping at us. Fuel's coming off. Fuel selector goes back to manual. You really could probably leave that on auto all the time. Get our lights off. And we're good. Just turn the crash bar. Done. And welcome to Gatlinburg Airport. Sorry about the frame rate. Something I gotta fix for the next video. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back very soon. See you guys then. Peace.